Good afternoon. Israel briefers from all around the world, from Oregon to Scotland to Zambia to South Africa, Australia, and everywhere in between. Thank you for joining me. I am Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, where we meet every Monday to Thursday to take a look at those big stories making the headlines in Israel. I hear many of you feel you can't trust the mainstream media. Well, I hope that we can be a friend that you can trust. And as always, we are brought to you in conjunction with these guys, Lay of the Land. Now, before we get into our broadcast, I just want to speak for a minute to our Israel briefers, our friends and family in California, especially around the Los Angeles area. We are watching with great concern and prayers at the massive fires sweeping through the city, sweeping through parts of Los Angeles and Southern California. If you are from Southern California in areas that are affected, if you can, please check in. Let us know that you are okay. And also, before we get into the headlines, I just want to remind you all that if you have a question that you would like asked right here on the Israel Brief, please pop it in the comment section below, or be in touch with us via our website or Facebook page. And it is Wednesday, guys, which means tomorrow, Thursday, is when we announce the Mensch and the Moron of the week. So get those nominations through to me as soon as you can. But it is day 460. I can't believe we are heading so quickly to day 500 since the 7th of October. And a reminder that we still have 100 hostages being held captive by Hamas. 100 hostages. It is absolutely untenable what they are enduring. So let's take a look at those top stories, and we go to the United Arab Emirates, where Israel's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Gideon Sa'ar, has met with his Emirati counterpart in Abu Dhabi. The two discuss the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip, and I want to just reiterate for many that in Israel we share a huge concern for the civilians in Gaza. We are not immune to what is happening to them, and we would like this war to come to an end as soon as possible for all of our sakes. And what is needed for that is for Hamas to surrender and hand over the hostages. Well, the two foreign ministers not only discussed the humanitarian situation, but also a possibility for a ceasefire. The Emirati foreign minister reiterated that an urgent political horizon needs to be sought to ensure peace, and the Emiratis believe in a two-state solution. And of course, there are many opinions on what solution would be best here, and we still are not 100% clear about the day after in Gaza, but these conversations are happening. Reports in the Hebrew media as well yesterday that the Emirati, Israeli and American officials have all discussed ways to look at governance in Gaza following the war. And just a reminder, while we're also talking about humanitarian aid, many Gazans who do need medical assistance very, very urgently have been evacuated from the Gaza Strip to hospitals in the United Arab Emirates with their caregivers. I think the last figure was about over 1,500 of them. Let's talk about the hostages for a minute, because the issue of the hostages must be front and center of the world's conscience. President-elect Trump warned yet again yesterday that Hamas needs to release the hostages in time for him to take office, or to quote the president-elect, all hell will break loose in the Middle East. Now, he did not elaborate on what that would look like, but we do know that his Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, has been dispatched to Doha in Qatar to join hostage negotiations. Meanwhile, here in Israel, the families of hostages have appealed or petitioned the Israeli High Court, saying that they blame the government for failing to secure the release of the hostages and for violating their constitutional rights. Staying in Israel, and Israel is investigating or overhauling its strategy as far as weapons are concerned. The aim of this is to be more self-reliant and not reliant on munitions from countries around the world. Now, the reason for this is the delay in imported arms, and yesterday Israel's Ministry of Defense announced that they had signed a $1 billion deal with Elbit Systems to strengthen our military self-sufficiency as well as boost domestic production of raw materials. And finally, we go to Ireland, where Ireland announced yesterday that they had formally applied to join South Africa's case against Israel at the International Court of Justice. For South Africans who may not be aware, the government has set aside 95 million rand, which I'm sure could be well spent on improving your infrastructure, on its sham case accusing the Jewish state of genocide at the International Court of Justice. Now, relations between Ireland and Israel are at an all-time low. In December, our Foreign Minister Gideon Saar announced that we would be shutting our embassy in Dublin, and in May we recalled our Ambassador Dana Ehrlich. Other issues that have contributed to this, let's just call it, freezing of relations include Ireland's recognition of a Palestinian state, which Israel sees as rewarding Hamas for their terrorism, and for the vote taken in the Irish Parliament in November that accuses Israel of genocide against the Palestinians. I wonder if the Irish Parliament will be holding any votes soon about Turkey's actions against the Kurds in northern Syria. I guess there is some selective moral outrage. Anyway, those are our top stories for today, but let's take a look at the audience question, and it's a doozy. It comes from Harold in Johannesburg. He says, if Al Jazeera is banned in the Middle East, why do Westerners watch? Well, that's a great question. I know that for some countries like South Africa, Al Jazeera is one of the few international news networks that many of you have. But Al Jazeera, which is operated out of Doha and is funded heavily by the Qataris, very much pushes an anti-West, pro-Hamas agenda. And it's absolutely astounding that many in the West fall or are taken in by a lot of the invective or rhetoric that is broadcast on this embarrassment of a network that just a few weeks ago was banned by the Palestinian Authority and is currently banned by Israel, Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and others. So basically, Westerners who are watching Al Jazeera, if the Middle East is telling you that they are problematic for our region, perhaps they're problematic for our region. And those are our top stories for today. Guys, don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our Facebook page at Lottlesite. You know, Meta has all these issues with blocking what you can see. So visit our page on Meta, not Facebook. I still call it Facebook, which you can find at LOTLSITE. Like, share, subscribe, invite your friends. You guys know what to do. Our YouTube channel is right here at The Israel Brief. We're on X at Lay of the Land 5, on LinkedIn at Rolene Marks, and on Instagram at Rolene_Marks. So guys, God bless you all. It is so time for tea. I know many of you are going to join me for that, or a gin and tonic. Either is good. And take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you again for the Thursday edition tomorrow. Bye for now.